Okay, hi everyone. Today we are kicking off our new Georgia Climate Digest video series with a quick interview to get to know our new host of the series, Eriqah Vincent. Eriqah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Eriqah Vincent. I use she, her pronouns. I live in Stonecrest, Georgia. Been living in Georgia for about, oh, wow. I guess it's been 18 years, close to 18 years, oh six to 2024. Yeah, 18 years. And I'm really excited to be with you. I am originally from Newark, New Jersey. I came to Georgia for college, went to Spelman College, and graduated with a bachelor's in comparative women's studies with a focus on activism, and have been doing activism and advocacy for all of my career, which spans about 15 years. It started while I was in college. I am
Fantastic.
currently a climate and environmental justice advocate. I do a lot of consultant work right now and live, like I said, out in Stonecrest, which is east of the city, with my husband and my almost 3-year-old and our dog Knox. And so I'm really excited to be here, really excited for this opportunity, and excited to get this series kicked off. It's going to be great.
We're so happy to have you. And I love that you knew what you wanted to do right from the get-go and got engaged in college. That seems really um, exciting. It must have been an exciting time for you. Um, Tell us a little bit how it came to be. I mean, it sounds like it was your field of study, but was there any sort of event that kicked off your interest, or how did you get engaged in Georgia?
Yeah, so I'm so glad I sound more confident now because that was not the case when I first started. I did not know what I wanted to do. I was just telling someone this yesterday. I came to college actually, and my major was sociology and then my idea was a pre-law track. Um, and I was, like I said, I thought I wanted to be a lawyer for years, actually. A large part of my life, I thought I wanted to be like a judge. And I think maybe that was sounded really cool to me when I was younger. And was also just like people thought I talked a lot and was like a good debater. And so we always say like kids like, oh, you like a good debater, like you should be a lawyer. And so I was like, okay. But once I got to college and started going to like law school fairs my sophomore year, when people really start thinking about law school already, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this at all. So I actually spent about a semester, like a whole semester, really having no idea what I wanted to do. And took at Spelman is a requirement to take either a women's comparative women's studies course, the intro to
Hmm.
women's studies, or international relations. And so I opted for comparative women's studies and was like fell in love with and stopped feeling like I was doing work and really felt like I was learning, and had
Yeah.
a fantastic time in the shout out to the Women's Research and Resource Center at Spelman College. Really is a magical place with Dr. Mbahati Kumba and Dr. Beverly Guy-Sheftall. Dr. Guy-Sheftall is director of the center and is also a Spelman woman herself. And yeah, so I started not till like really like junior year. And what started me to your question was I went to a amazing event called the Power Shift Convergence in 2009. So I was a
Okay.
junior at Spelman my spring semester, still kind of figuring it out. And that was the event that changed everything for me. I was talking to someone about this yesterday and saying that event really changed my life. It was at the time, like I think the largest, like slated as like the largest convergence of youth climate activists in the world. It was
Wow.
10,000 people in DC in '09 in the cold,
Okay.
in the snow.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, we actually got had to stay for an extra day. Some of us actually had to stay for an extra day because our bus driver didn't want to drive back to Atlanta in the snow. And so yeah, so it was an adventure, but also I had never seen anything like that before. I had never been a part of anything like
Yeah.
that before. And I didn't realize there were so many young folks, so many people in general, but also so many people my age, young folks that were
Right.
really passionate about climate and environmental work. And I learned so much at that event. And actually went to that event multiple other times and brought other young people along. My last one being
Amazing.
last year when I was on staff at Power Shift. So
Oh,
it was a
wow.
wonderful
Full
moment for
circle.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's great.
so what I really loved about that event last year is I heard young folks, and I guess I'm still a young folk, but not really, not a youth. But I heard people who were my age when I went to the 2009 convergence. I heard them saying the same thing I said then. I've never felt more seen. I've never felt more inspired. I'm so glad to be here. This is an amazing event. And that's the
Yeah,
same
there's
way.
real power in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The power
So,
in community.
yeah, absolutely. And so I felt really good about creating that type of community for them that was created for me all those years ago. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, so in that time, the past 15 years, you have probably seen a lot um, happenings, particularly in Georgia.
Right.
Um, we know that we have a lot of work to do, but I'm a native Georgian, and I am can't help but find myself constantly surprised by the progress that we are making. In
Yeah.
terms specifically in terms of climate and equity, what has surprised you the most about the progress that Georgia is making on those fronts?
I think the South gets, I'm a Northerner to the bottom of my heart. And I'm reminded that I'm a Northerner often. My husband reminds me every chance he gets. He's from Columbus, Georgia. So he reminds me every chance he gets that how much of a Northerner I am. But I think it's being a Northerner, being from the East
Mhm.
Coast, I think the South gets a bad rap of not being progressive
Right.
on some of these issues and not being, and certainly like you said, we have a lot of work to do, but really like I love New Jersey very much. And there are things that we are very progressive on, and there are things we have a lot of work to do on. So,
Right.
we could
Right.
all point fingers all day. But I think that what I am surprised by, or what I have become more surprised by, is how progressive things are. And certainly I know, like, living in Atlanta, anyone from Georgia will tell you, like, Atlanta and Georgia are not always the same place. But
Yes.
I do think that there is progress being made that I think is really something to be proud of. I think that there are a lot of folks with a lot of really good ideas that have found creative ways in a, more, sometimes more conservative place like Georgia, like the South,
Right.
have found
Right.
creative ways to get around some of that and found these niches where they can really affect positive and progressive change. And so
And
I agree with you. I'm
and
totally constantly
yeah.
surprised about the ways in which folks have had to be creative and therefore have come up with these really creative ways to be, to have more progressive, positive moves in the right direction, I should say, when it comes to
Yeah.
climate and environmental work. And it's really inspiring, and I'm inspired by it.
I am too, and I'm inspired by exactly what you said, which is the people who have really, who are really stepping up. I'm also inspired when we hear about communities that are finding common ground in the things that we all care about,
Yeah.
and that I think that's really hopeful. Um, I mean, for sure, the climate world can be a lot of doom and gloom. I think for a lot of years, we spent a lot of time focusing on the negative impacts and not to minimize them at all. But I think what Drawdown Georgia in particular is energized by is about the potential for solutions.
Mhm.
So, and that gives me hope. I think it gives many people in our community hope. What gives you hope?
I think what gives me hope, honestly, there are a lot of spaces that are becoming more and more committed to multi-generational conversations around climate work.
Oh,
Young
I love
folks
that. Yeah,
are very interested in how to make sure that the world that they have and the world that they are leaving to the next generations that are yet to be born will inherit. And at the same time, there are folks that, like you said, that there are folks that have been doing this for a long time that have had to do really creative things to
right.
find their niches and making progress. And so there are a lot of multi-generational spaces that are being created. There is a real focus from a philanthropy standpoint on more
Right.
multi-generational spaces. I think when I first started, there was a very strong focus on youth. And while I think having a strong focus on youth is still very valuable and still very needed. And I don't think we need to move completely away from that. I think there is value in all youth spaces to really see, these innovative ways in which the next generations are making their own solutions. I also am excited about the multi-generational spaces that are being focused on, where we are inviting youth leaders that have been doing this work or are starting to really get their feet wet in it, and inviting our veterans, our pioneers, our icons in the work. And certainly we have many of those in Georgia that have done it for a while, and welcoming them into spaces that are multi-generational, that are multi-respectful, that are respectful across age lines and respectful of the innovative new ways that things are being done, while also honoring and being respectful of the ways that they have been done or the progress that has been made. And so that's what really gives me hope, is seeing those types of spaces. My movement elders, whom I love very much, every opportunity I have to be in community with them and to sit with them and hear their stories and hear, what they have done, I take that opportunity. And at the same time, get really excited about learning from and mentoring folks that are younger than me. And I'm a millennial. So Gen Z is, coming in very strong with their advocacy, and it's really a beautiful thing to see. And also, I have big sisters and big siblings and big brothers in the Gen X space, and movement elders and, parents, I would say almost parental figures in the, boomer and other generations older that. And so I really like kind of being in this sandwich space right now, because I'm inspired on all sides. And that really gives me hope, because I think that we're going to continue to learn from each other. And in a really respectful way. And I think that's what's the key there, is like the respect of the newness and the respect of the history
and the experience. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I really love about Drawdown Georgia, is that we always say that we aspire to be a leaderful movement, that there's no one person or organization that is out in front, because it's going to take all of us. And so we need to bring every community to the table. I think that's what's really exciting about the equity work that's happening, and that I know you've been involved in with Drawdown. And that's what's exciting about what you're saying about multi-generational work. And we need all of it. More, please, of all of it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, well, speaking of the work that Drawdown's doing, and to lift up people in the community, that's what this whole interview series that we're kicking off is all about, is about lifting up those voices and giving us all the chance to learn about all the many ways in which solutions are taking shape in our state. So what are you looking forward to? You're going to be in conversation with some really, really cool people.
So
what are you looking forward to the most as we kick off this new series?
Yeah, y'all, this new series is going to be great. There's already a great list of folks, and we're continuing to build that list. I'm really excited to talk to folks that I know and love, and I'm really excited to talk to folks that I've never met before, but may have heard their names before or heard of the work that they're doing. I'm really excited to talk to folks that are, as much as, I love Atlanta. I joke all the time that I'm a Northerner, and Atlanta is about as north as the South gets. So that's good for me.
Yes.
And most Southerners, when I say that, they go, yeah, I get that. But I would love to get outside of this 5-county metro, and talk to more folks in Savannah and Albany and Columbus and, in the southern parts of the state that are doing some of this work. And I think that's what I'm really excited about, is to talk to folks that are in the city proper and in the 5-county metro area, but also to talk to the folks on the coast and to talk to the folks in the mountains.
We're so excited for you to do that too. That really is just so important, that we recognize that there is progress happening all over the state. This isn't just something that's happening right around City Hall.
Yes, exactly. And also I'm excited to talk to folks that fine, you talked about City Hall, or talked about downtown Atlanta, if we're talking about the Capitol. I'm also really excited to talk to folks that are I really see the value in the politics of all of it, and the value in the political, trying to drive political change. I also see the value in figuring out what's going on in my city. And I see the value in I think sometimes folks scoff at the community garden conversation, or the, getting kids outside conversation in other parts of the movement. But that's really important too. Those
Very
kids
important. Yeah.
that we are introducing to nature walks and to, critters and animals in their area, those kids grow up to be folks that are passionate about the environment. Those kids grow up to be folks that are passionate about conservation, and those folks grows to be up that are passionate about environmental protection. And so, I think all of it, it's like you said, leader full, all of it is important. Sometimes folks in the movement space call it an inside outside game. Like, how are we being inside the political space and making sure that we're driving political and policy change while we're also making sure that our community, has green space and beautification and things like that. All of it is important. All of it is necessary. And so I'm interested in talking to folks that are on all sides of the movement to talk about how we are collectively making sure that we are protecting things as much as we can in Georgia and driving change here in the state.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much, Erica. It's great to get to know you a little bit. We really look forward to kicking off this series and to introducing our audience to your voice and to all the other voices of folks that we're going to get the chance to talk to over the next few months. I appreciate your time today.
It's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.